Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Worm Shepherd, Dawn of the Iconoclast, out February 20th on Unique Leader Records. This EP has 5 tracks, 25 minutes in length, and this is the band's second EP. They are an American symphonic deathcore band. Now, this is a very interesting release because it comes after a 2-year hiatus, and it presents the new revamped lineup of the band. So I think there's a lot to be said about a release like this. It's as much about the music as it is the message that the band wants to put out there, letting everyone know that they're still around, letting everyone know that this revamped lineup can do perhaps even better than what the band has done up until this point, and just allowing themselves to be creative, have some boundaries within that creativity because it is an EP, but definitely opening the doors for what a future full-length record could possibly sound and feel like. So let's go down these 5 songs one at a time, starting off with the Omen, the opening track. Great opening song for a multitude of reasons, primarily because I feel like it's a calling card for what the rest of the record is all about. Everything you're going to find throughout the album, I think most of it is represented here. At least the most important elements are represented here. A track that feels incredibly cinematic, massive sound, massive experience, massive song, both musically, vocally, and the way the heaviness of the drums, guitars, and bass melts in with the orchestral side of their sound feels completely flawless throughout the entire track. I just love how much one feeds into the other and vice versa, really creating a heavy presence as far as the track is concerned, but also a heavy cinematic vibe as the track develops. And it's definitely a track that develops, a track that's super dynamic, top to bottom, throwing some curveballs at the listener. I also want to mention the guitar solo on this track is excellent, and I'm a big fan of deathcore bands that include really interesting solos into their music, not allowing everything to just be about heaviness or breakdowns or both, but rather adding a little bit more of metal or traditional metal into their sound by including some really outstanding guitar solos in their music. The more quality elements you can bring into your music, into your tracks, into your records, the better you're off, and I don't understand why not add a great solo to a great track if that's going to make the song better. If it's not going to make the song better, it's a different story, but if it's going to add, in this case, it adds to the cinematic essence of the song, so I'm all for it. I just feel like it's a great track, and then the curveball at the end, the song stops, breaks, and then it restarts with a breakdown just to finish itself off. It's almost like you're watching a zombie movie, or you're watching a horror movie, and you give 2 shots to the bad guy of the movie, either be a zombie or a serial killer, whatever the case might be, and you think the movie is over, the killer is dead, the good guy starts walking away, the bad guy rises up, and then you realize you have to turn back and give it 2 more shots. The finality of this song definitely feels like something out of a movie in terms of sonically creating that sort of visual perspective, and I thought that was really interesting, really different, and it's very unique to this song as far as the rest of the EP starts to develop. And the next track, in my humble opinion, is the best song on this record, Soulless Lament. I think this is going to be one of the best deathcore songs of 2026, at least right now, being early in the year, is setting the bar for what I would like to see other songs in this genre deliver. The drums sound insane, so massive, so big, so heavy, super driven song. The orchestral pieces perfectly weaved in with the rest of the sound, making the track feel even bigger, even heavier, even more impactful. The guitar melodies throughout this track are excellent, just excellent, adding some softer spots, if you will, in such a brutal, heavy song makes for a more interesting experience. It allows the listener to navigate through the track better. It also makes the track at times a little bit easier to digest because you don't feel like the song is relentless all the way through. Giving you the right pockets makes the song definitely feel better, sounds better. It just comes across more complete. Now, it's a less darker song than Omen because of those melodies, but still very fluid, very engaging. The vocals are insane and the guitars are out of this world. Next you have Feast, symphonic, the symphonic side of this track, and this is the only track that I really felt this way about it. The symphonic side, the orchestral side of this track really overpowers the rest of the song. It's not the case on any other song, but this one, that is the experience that I got. Everything feels subjugated by it. Everything else feels covered by it. Even the vocals, and even the vocals being so heavy as they are, the overall orchestral side of the song is just so powerful that just subjugates everything else. It creates an interesting atmosphere for the song. It creates a somber atmosphere into the song, and I like some of the pockets that they added, really atmospheric pockets. So it's a track that becomes a lot more atmospherically driven or atmospherically focused from an overall design and then overall execution, and that is the reason why I feel like from a production standpoint they allowed the orchestral pieces to really take over and control the overall sound experience of the song. It's still an epic sounding track. It fits really well in the context of this EP, but it has that unique characteristic to it. After that, we have Sanctified Rot. The keys are excellent. I honestly love the keys on this song because it created a very sinister vibe. This is a track that I don't feel like it's a dark song, like Omen is a very dark song. Soulless Lament is not. It's way more open. Feast is a track that has that atmospheric fingerprint controlling it. So as you can tell, every single song, for as cohesive as the whole EP is, every single song has its own sense of uniqueness, has its own fingerprint. And Sanctified Rot, in my opinion, adds a sinister vibe that we hadn't really seen up until this point. We had seen darkness, but not necessarily sinister. This is almost deathcore for Alfred Hitchcock lovers. That's how this track comes across. The vocals are powerful, the sound is heavy, very rich, very textured. The guitar melodies are excellent. The guitars overall become a little bit of the protagonist of this story. I like the choirs connected into the overall orchestrations of the track, because talk about adding even more of a dense atmosphere of bringing that sinister vibe as far as the atmosphere is concerned with those choirs. I think that is really the nail in the coffin as far as that vibe, as far as that experience goes. But it's definitely a juggernaut of a track. Vocals really stand out. Not just the vocal delivery, but having those choirs. Everything vocally on this song becomes the focus of attention, with the guitars playing also a very important role throughout. And this brings us to the last track on the EP, Whispers of a Buried Land. Now this is the longest song on this record, over 7 minutes in length. I felt like it was a great closing track because it brought almost every single uniqueness. I shouldn't say almost, I would say every single uniqueness that the previous 4 tracks offered. Somehow, I don't know exactly why or how or what the idea was behind it, but I really feel like they wanted to create a track that at the end of the EP kind of feels like a closing. It feels like the curtains coming down. It feels like it gives a sense of finality to the record, to the EP. So that's maybe the idea behind bringing all of these different uniquenesses from the 4 previous tracks into the fold, into this song, allowing the track to push that over that 7-minute mark, but not really feel like it overextends itself. I feel like this is a track that really emphasizes the cinematic aspect of the band, because it feels like there's a journey built in within the song itself. You cannot do that if the song is shorter. You really need those 7 minutes plus in order to be able to develop all the different characters and characteristics that are unique to each and every single song up until this point, but then become part of a much bigger picture on this specific track. So I love the way this song develops, I love the way this song comes together, and I love the way it ends the record, because it definitely makes you feel complete. It doesn't leave you wondering, it doesn't create a cliffhanger, if you will. It just really puts a finality or a sense of finality to this EP by Worm Shepherd. And I thought that was a great idea, great execution. This track can only really come at the end because of what it offers and how much is going to be required of the listener to really digest through it. It would be perhaps a little bit daunting if it came anywhere else on this track list. Perfect closer for what it was, the perfect opener with the Omen, and a very fun, unique experience from track to track, because there's so many uniquenesses on these songs, but overall the heaviness, the orchestral side, the symphonic elements are definitely consistent and coherent throughout the entire record. So it's an album that, or an EP I should say, that on one hand feels well intertwined. The songs really belong together, but at the same time all of them have so much that really breaks them apart. This is it, Worm Shepherd with Dawn of the Iconoclast, once again out February 20th on Unique Leader Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on the singles. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next one. Take care, guys.